So now that we've reviewed a little operations with decimals and fractions, let's see how all of that works when we do operations with rational numbers. So to get us started, we're going to review the basic of the integer operations with adding and subtracting. So as a friendly reminder, whenever the signs are the same, we are going to add and keep the sign. So perfect example is right below, -3 plus -5. That's 3 bad guys plus 5 bad guys. Well, add them up, we get 8. Keep the sign. The answer is a -8. Now, when the signs are different, we got a battle going on. So we got to ask ourselves those two questions. Who wins? That will give us the sign we need to use. And by how much will tell us the number. So here's our example. We have a -15 and a +10. So there's 15 bad guys and 10 good guys. So who wins? There are more bad guys, so the answer is going to be negative. And by how much? If we just do a little 15 minus 10, we get a final answer of -5. Now, as far as subtraction, now that we've learned all about integers, we can now think of subtraction as adding the opposite. So, if it's easier for us to think about this like good guys, bad guys, we don't have to just use the takeaway model anymore. So, as an example, 4 minus -2, well, a negative, that just says 4 plus 2. So 4 good guys, 2 good guys, that gives us a final answer of a +6. And the last one here, we have a -8 minus 4. Again, instead of thinking like minus, we can always add the opposite. So -8 plus -4, signs are the same, so I get a negative answer, and 8 plus 4 gets me -12. So what we're going to be doing now is using all of these rules, but with decimals and fractions. So let's take a look at our first example. We have a -8 and 6/10 plus -7 and 2/10. Well, I see negatives plus more negatives, so I'm just going to give myself a little note up here. I know my answer has to be negative. Now let's go through our steps. Bad guys and more bad guys gives us lots of bad guys. So 8.6 plus 7.2, that gets me 6 plus 2 is 8. There's my lined up decimal. And 8 plus 7 gets me 15. And we already recognized that my answer needs to be a negative. So -15 and 8/10 is our final answer. Now, to move on to the fractions. Just like you guys practiced, to add or subtract fractions, we need a common denominator. But first things first, I have a negative plus more negatives. Well, that's going to give me a whole bunch of negatives. So I have a negative answer coming our way. So let's get a common denominator. If my denominators are 3 and 2, well, both of those will go into 6. So I'm going to use 6 as my common denominator. Now we got to figure out, how did I get there? To get from that 3 to 6, that was times 2. So 2 times 2 gets me a 4 on top. -2/3 and -4/6 are literally the exact same fractions. For the other one, how do I get from 2 to 6? Well, that would be times 3. So 1 times 3 gets me a 3 on top. So now that I have my common denominator, what is a -4 plus a -3? That gets me 7 bad guys. So -7/6 is an answer, or we can change this to a mix. 6 goes into 7 one time with 1 left over, and my denominator is 6. So either of those answers would technically be correct. So let's step this up a little bit, take a look at a couple more addition examples. So when I'm looking at -2 and 4/10 plus 5 and 1/10, One of them's positive, one of them's negative, so we got a battle. First question, who has more? Yep, there's more positives, so I know I'm going to get a positive answer. Second question, by how much? Well, let's find the difference so we can know how much. So I can't take away 4 from 1, so I'm going to have to borrow from the 5, make that an 11. So 11 minus 4 gets me a 7. 4 minus 2 gets me a 2. And we already said the answer is going to be positive. So we're done. 2 7/10 is our final answer. All right, last one for addition. Ooh, we got 5 1/4 plus negative 2/3. So it looks like we got another battle going on. 5 1/4 is definitely more than 2/3. So I'm going to get a positive answer. Let's make sure we make a note of that. Now, when we add and subtract fractions, let's get some fractions here. So let's convert this. Times 4 plus 1. So that's 21/4 plus a negative 2/3. So all I've done was convert this mixed number to an improper fraction. Now that I have fractions here, let's find that common denominator. So 4 and 3, my common denominator is going to be 12. Now, how did I get there? That would be 4 times 3. So 3 times 21 gets me 63. And for over here, how did I get from 3 to a 12? That must have been times 4. So 4 times 2 gets me an 8. Now, to finish up our answer, the denominator is the same. And now, what is 63 plus negative 8? Well, subtract them. We should get 55/12. Or, let's see, 12 goes into 55 4 times. That's 48. So there's 7 left over. And 12 is our denominator. So either one of these answers would be correct. So let's move on to a little bit of subtraction now. So same rules apply as the integers. First thing I'm going to do is clean up this negative and make that a positive. So we got negative 8.4 plus 6.7. Looks like I got a battle going on. Who has more? We have more negatives. Second question, by how much? Let's stack them and subtract them. Again, can't do 7, take away 4. So we're going to borrow. So 14 minus 7 is 7. 7 minus 6 is a 1. And we already knew the answer was negative. So negative 1 7/10. All right, last one, best one. Same thing I did for the addition. Let's go ahead and convert this to improper. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 gives me a negative 10/3, minus a 5/6. Let's get that common denominator. I'm going to go with 6. So how did I get there? That would be 3 times 2. So 2 times 10 is 20. And this is just the same. 6 times 1 is 6, so 1 times 5 is 5. Denominator is 6. So what is negative 20 and a negative 5? Well, that's 25 bad guys. So we get negative 25 over 6. Let's make that a mixed number just to practice. 6 times what gets me really close to 25? That would be 4. That's 24, so 1 is left over. And 6 is our denominator. And there are our final answers. So go ahead and pause the video and move on to those explore questions. Go ahead and check with me as soon as you're done, and let's see how you did. Down at the bottom, you got 3 evaluating problems where you need to plug them in. Keep in mind, some of them are decimals, some of them are fractions. So you get your choice. You get to convert it one way or the other. If you're all good with that, check those 5 assess questions. If you can get through those no problem, you are ready for your mastery check. Make sure you stop by, check in with Mr. Yakubowski. Let me know how I can help you. Good luck.